Hello guys, welcome to this biology presentation. Specifically, it is paper 1, the multiple choice questions. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more videos like this and kindly share this video to your friends. So the first question is saying, the diagram shows how a plant called a Venus flytrap reacts to a fly landing on it. So we have the first stage here where we are having a fly lands on a leaf. So once a fly lands on a leaf, the reaction are shown here. So here they are saying the fly is digested by juice produced by the leaf. Now after the fly lands on the Venus flytrap, here they are saying the arrow is indicating that the fly has been trapped. Right. So once the fly lands on a Venus flytrap leaf, the first thing here, the Venus flytrap was showing what? Sensitivity. I'll give you an example. Once you sit on the sharp object, what is going to happen? You're going to show sensitivity. You're going to show what? Sensitivity. Or once you touch the hot object, you're going to do what? You're going to show sensitivity by withdrawing the what? The hand from the hot object. Similarly to this Venus flytrap, once the fly lands on it, here the arrow is showing that the fly was what? Was trapped. Meaning, this fly trap, which is the Venus flytrap, was showing what? Sensitivity. And then at the end here they are saying, the fly is digested by juices produced by the leaf. This Venus flytrap wanted to obtain the nutrients from the fly. Meaning we have two things here. We have nutrition and sensitivity, or sensitivity and nutrition. So D, we can circle it. Then the next question, which features do animal cells share with plant cells? So one thing that you need to know here, we have this key here, which is showing us that when they have included a mark, it is going to represent yes. Then a clause, it is going to represent no. Right. So we have the chloroplast. Chloroplast doesn't found in the animals or in animal cells. Then as for the cytoplasm, it is found in both plants and animals. Similarly to the nucleus, nucleus is found in both plants and animals. Meaning we are going to have cytoplasm marked and also the nucleus marked. But as for the chloroplast, we are going to have what? An X, which is the clause. So we can just say the answer is going to be what? C. The chloroplast is not found in animals, but it is found where? In plants. And then as for the next question, it is saying, the diagram shows a drawing of a human cheek cell. So we have X and Y. The distance between points X and Y on the diagram is 30 millimeters. So this 30 millimeters, it is our size of the drawing. The size of the drawing. Then the actual length of the cell between X and Y was 60 micrometer. This symbol here means what? Macro. And macro means millionth. Right? So millionth, we usually write it in this form here where we are going to say 1 multiplied by 10 to the power negative what? 6. Then we say meters. If it is meters or millimeters, whatever you have. Right. So the question is saying, what is the magnification of the cell? What is the magnification of the cell? So now one thing that we need to know here, we need to convert this 60 micrometer into millimeters. Right, so 60 micrometer, it is same as 60 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 6. Then here we can say meters. Then after that, when you convert this one here into centimeters, by using this conversion factor, where you're going to say 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeters. Once you convert this number, which is 60 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 6 meters into centimeters, you need also to convert it into millimeters by using this conversion factor, which is 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 millimeters. Now, once you convert, you're going to find that This 60 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 6 meters is same as 0.06 millimeters. So you can do that one by converting it. So let's try to find magnification. So we can say magnification is given by the size of the drawing divided by the size of the actual cell. So the size of the drawing divided by the size of the actual cell. So the size of the drawing here we have been given, which is 30 millimeters, then divided by the size of the actual cell, which is 0.06 millimeters. So millimeters and millimeters, they are going to cancel each other. Now one thing that you need to know here is that we usually put x in front of a number or at the end of the number to represent the number of times the cell or an object has been magnified. So in this case here, when we divide 30 divided by 0.06, we are going to get 500. Now this 500, we need to put what? X. This x is going to represent the number of times the cell has been magnified. So we can say the answer here is just going to be what? C. Let me repeat. I'm saying x represents the number of times the cell has been magnified. So by definition, if they say what is magnification, you can say it is the total number of times the cell has been magnified. The next question. So the next question is coming from Enzymes, and it is saying an investigation was carried out to see the effect of pH on the activity of an enzyme found in the human alimentary canal. The graph shows the results obtained. So we have the activity of enzyme, and here we have the pH. Now the pH of a substance, it is measured by using the pH scale. And usually the pH scale ranges from 0 up to 14. And the pH of 7, it is called neutral. And the pH of 0 up to 6.9, it is called acidic pH. Meaning, this side here, it is the side for the acidic. And from the pH of 7, it is called the neutral pH. Then apart from this one here, the pH of 8 up to the pH of 14, it is called the alkalinity pH or alkaline pH. So that is one thing that you need to know. Now, according to this graph that we have, it is starting from 0 up to 3. Meaning, this graph, it is showing the graph under the acidic pH. If here we had 8 up to 14, meaning this one was supposed to be the pH of alkalinity or alkaline pH. Now, let me give you an example of the region in the alimentary canal where you are going to find the acidic region, and that region is called the stomach. In the stomach, you are going to find the acidic region because the stomach is capable of producing what? Hydrochloric acid. And hydrochloric acid, it is what? It is acidic. Then when it comes to the neutral pH, this neutral pH, an example of a region in the humans or in the alimentary canal where you are going to find the neutral pH or alkalinity pH, it is in the mouth. It is in the mouth and in the duodenum. Right, so those are the areas where you are going to find what? Alkalinity pH, or you can say also jejunum, like that. So, this question is saying, what is the enzyme? What is the enzyme? So we have A, which is saying a protein found in the mouth. So the protein doesn't found in the mouth. It is found where? In the stomach. Then B, a protein found in the stomach. So the proteins work well under acidic pH. And one thing that you need to know is that an enzyme that can catalyze the reaction under acidic pH cannot be used to catalyze the reaction under alkalinity. So we can say a protein is found in the stomach. So the answer here we can just say it is just B. The next question. The cholera bacteria produces a toxin that results in water entering the alimentary canal and causing diarrhea. The diagram shows the human alimentary canal Into which region are chloride ions secreted as the result of the toxins? So one thing that you need to understand here is that you need to know where the reabsorption of water takes place. So the reabsorption of water takes place where? In the large intestine. So in the large intestine, that is where the reabsorption of water, or let me say the absorption of water takes place. Small intestine, that is where now the absorption of nutrients, most of the nutrients are absorbed. So you can say it is just what? C, which is the large intestine. So let's see the next question. Dogs are mammals and have the same types of teeth as humans. Which tooth is a canine? So one thing that you need to know is that part body A, which is option A, it is called the incisors. So the type of teeth for A, it is called the incisors. Then D, it is called the canine. So D is the answer, which is the canine. Then as for B, these are called premolars. So B, they are called premolars. Then C, they are called molars. So those are the types of teeth. Then as for the next question, it is saying, the diagrams represent section through a root, a stem, and a leaf, mid-lip, not drawn to the same scale. So we have P, which is the stem. Then as for Q, which is the mid-lip. Then R, it is the root. Right, so we can say, in which row are the sections correctly identified? So as for the root, it is R. The root, it is R. Then the stem is going to be P. Then as for the leaf, it is just going to be Q. Also, S is also the what? The root. But one thing that you need to know here, they are saying correctly identified. So we can say the answer here is just going to be what? C. So we can underline C. The diagram shows some organs in the human abdomen. So we have part labeled X, which is called the gallbladder. What is the function of X, which is the gallbladder? So we have the option or the answer, which is C, to store the bowel or to store bowel. So we can underline the answer as C, to store bowel. The next question. The diagram shows an external view of the human heart. So we have part labeled X, which is called D. So when the coronary artery is affected, it is going to cause what we call the coronary heart disease. So what is the name of the blood vessel labeled X? So the answer is just going to be what? A, which is the coronary artery. So we can say A as the answer. The next question. The diagram shows the position of three types of gland in the body. So we have part labeled 1, which is called the pancreas. So the pancreas secretes the insulin and glucagon. So the glucagon converts glycogen back into glucose or blood sugar. Then part labeled 2, which is called the adrenal gland, secretes the adrenaline. Then part labeled 3, it is called the ovary, which secretes the estrogen. Okay, the question is saying which glands secretes adrenaline, glucagon, and estrogen. So we have the adrenaline. So the adrenaline is secreted by part labeled 2, which is the adrenal gland. Then the glucagon is secreted by part labeled 1, which is the pancreas. Then the estrogen is secreted by part labeled 3. So we can say the answer is just going to be what? C. So we can underline C. So the next question is saying, the diagram shows a section through an eye. Which part is the receptor for the stimulus that results in a change in the size of the pupil? So the pupil, it is just the space that we can see here. That is the what? The pupil. Now this pupil is controlled by the iris, which is part labeled what? B. So part labeled B, it is the iris. Now this question is saying, which part is the receptor for the stimulus that results in the change in the size of the pupil? So we can just say it is B, which is the what? The iris. So the next question, it is coming from paper 2. So it is saying, figure 1.1 shows a photograph of some red blood cells that have been greatly magnified. So we have question A, Roman number 1 is saying, state the function of red blood cells. So the function of the red blood cells, it is to transport oxygen around the body. To transport oxygen around the body. Apart from that one, the red blood cells, they have the cell membrane, and on the cell membrane, that is where now the antigens are present or are found. So the first one I'm saying, transporting oxygen around the body. Apart from that one, to carry the antigens. So the antigens, they are found on the cell membrane of the red blood cells. The next question. State two features of red blood cells that make them efficient in carrying out this function. So the first one, so let me just reverse back. So the first one, we have this part here, this one here, this part here. It is called the biconcave in shape. So this biconcave in shape allows them to carry hemoglobin. The biconcave in shape allows them to carry hemoglobin. So you can say the first one is going to be the presence of the biconcave in shape. Then the next feature, it is going to be the presence of hemoglobin. This hemoglobin, it is just the red pigment of the red blood cells. Then Roman numeral number 2, explain the importance of each feature in a Roman numeral number 2. So we need to explain the importance of the features that we have mentioned here, like the biconcave in shape and the presence of hemoglobin. So we can say the importance of the presence of the biconcave in shape. This one allows the red blood cells to carry enough hemoglobin. And one thing that you need to know is that the red blood cells, they don't have the nucleus, and that one allows them to create the large surface area. Right. So the next one, we have said the presence of hemoglobin. So we need to say this hemoglobin, it has the high affinity for the attraction of what? Oxygen. So the hemoglobin has the high affinity to attract what? Oxygen. Then we have B. Name the liquid part of the blood that surrounds the red blood cells. So the liquid part which surrounds the red blood cells, it is called the plasma or plasma. Then the next question, it is saying, figure 4.1 shows a diagram of part of the alimentary canal and its associated organs. So we have part labeled A, which is called the esophagus. Then part labeled B, it is called the pancreas. So in part labeled A, which is the esophagus, that is where now the peristalsis occurs. So the function of the pancreas, it is to produce the hormone, which is the hormones, which are the insulin and the glucagon. Then apart from that one, it also secretes what? The pancreatic juice, which digests the food nutrients. So we have Roman numeral number 1. Name structures A and B shown on figure 4.1. So you can say A is going to be gullet or esophagus. Then as for B, it is going to be the pancreas. Roman numeral number 2. During digestion, food passes through the duodenum, state where the food goes to immediately after passing through the duodenum. So it goes through the what? The jejunum. Then apart from the jejunum, you can also, it goes through the what? The ileum. So the small intestine has 3 parts. See? It has the duodenum, jejunum, and the ileum. So you can say it goes through the what? The jejunum. Then as for Roman numeral number 3, describe the function of the gallbladder. Describe the function of what? The gallbladder. So the function of the gallbladder, it is to store what? The bowel. It is to store the bowel. So that one is the answer. The next one, which is B. Table 4.1 shows the approximate pH values in some areas of the alimentary canal. So we have the areas of the alimentary canal. The first one is the mouth cavity, which is having the approximate pH in area as 7. The stomach is having the pH of 7, and it is having the pH of 2, which is acidic. So then the duodenum, it is having the pH of 8, which is the alkalinity pH. Now, enzymes in the mouth begin the digestion of starch in food. Suggest why more enzymes must be secreted into the small intestine to complete digestion of starch. So, after the food passes through the small intestine, it goes where? Into the large intestine. And in the large intestine, that is where now the absorption of water takes place. The absorption of nutrients stops where? In the small intestine. So we are going to say This is because the absorption of nutrients stopped in the small intestine. Then the other one, you're going to say, this is because in the large intestine, only the absorption of water takes place, meaning the absorption of nutrients does not take place. The next question. What cells are herbivorous? Define the term herbivore. So the term herbivore, these are just animals that mainly depend on vegetables or plants for them to survive. So you can say these are just animals that feeds or that fed on plants and animals for them to survive. An example, you can talk of goats, cows, and so on. Then B is saying, figure 7.1 is a photograph of the lower jaw of a horse, right? So we have part labeled X. So part labeled X, the type of teeth or tooth that we have here called the premolar. Then part labeled Y, it is called the incisors, right? So the question is saying, which is Roman number 1, the dental pattern of a horse is similar to that of humans. Identify the type of teeth labeled X and Y. So the part labeled X, which is this one here, it is called the premolar. Then part labeled Y, it is called the incisors. So we can say X is the premolar, then Y is the incisors. Roman number 2. Identify the type of tooth found in a human jaw, but not present in the jaw, shown in figure 7.1. So as you can see from this diagram here, we have the space here. Now at this space here, we need to have what we call the canines. So the canines are absent. But when you talk of molars, molars are these teeth which are found here. Those are the molars. So here, molars are present, but the only type of teeth, or the type of teeth, the only type of teeth which is not present in this lower jaw of a horse, it is the canine. So we can say the answer here, we can say the canine. Number 3, state the name of the type of digestion that takes place using teeth. So it is called physical digestion, or so we have two types of. So the first one is going to be mechanical or physical, then the last one is going to be chemical. So as for chemical, it involves the use of enzymes, and then as for the physical, it involves the use of teeth. So we can say physical digestion or mechanical digestion. The next one. So the next one is saying it's coming from sense organs, and it is saying the eye is an example of a sense organ. Define the term sense organ. So the sense organ, it is any organ part of the body. It is any organ part of the body that is capable of detecting the stimulus. So we can say any organ or any part of the body that is capable of detecting the stimulus. So that one is the what? The sense organ. Or in other words, you can say the sense organs, these are just organs of the body that detect or that respond to stimulus, or that respond under the influence of what? The stimulus. So that's the definition for the sense organ. Then as for B, it is saying figure 9.1 shows a section through the eye. So we have part labeled X, right? So part labeled X. So they are saying state the name of the part labeled X. So the part labeled X, it is called the retina. Then it is saying list 3 parts of the eye that light passes through to reach structure X. So part labeled X is called the retina. Now we need to label the parts for the light to reach part what? X. So let me just do an experimentally. So you can say when the light is coming from this direction, it is going to pass through the pupil up to this part, which is part labeled X. Now we need to label the parts at which the light is going to pass through. So as you can see, the first one is going to be the cornea, which is this one here. Then the next one is going to be the pupil. That is where now the light is going to pass through. Then the last one is going to be what? The lens. Right? So we have 3 parts where the light passes through. For each to each part labeled X, which is the retina. So we have the cornea, followed by the pupil. Then the last one is going to be the lens. So we have the cornea. Then the next one is going to be the pupil. Then the last one is going to be the lens. Right, so we have Roman numeral number 32 saying label the optical nerve on figure 9.1 by drawing a label line and letter N, 1 mark. So let's try to label the optical nerve. So the optical nerve, it is just this part here. So the optical nerve can be this one here, or it can be this one here. So in simpler ways, we are just going to say the optical nerve is just going to be everything here, where we are going to say this one is going to be what? N. So that is how we label the optical nerve. The optical nerve is just this one here. Right. Number 4. State the function of the optical nerve. So the function of the optical nerve, it is to send the visual electrical impulse to the brain. That's the function of the optical nerve. That was the last one. Thanks for watching and see you next time.